Welcome back to cyber technology. An initialization vector or IV is a small piece of data added to an encryption key to make each encrypted message look different, even if the same key and same password are used again and again. Think of the key as your house key and the IV as a random twist of the lock's tumblers that changes every time. So two people watching from outside never see the same pattern on the door twice. In block cipher modes like CBC, CFB, or stream ciphers, the IV is critical because it ensures that identical plaintext blocks do not produce identical ciphertext blocks. That randomness is what stops attackers from building patterns and guessing what is inside the encrypted traffic. IVs are used everywhere. In Wi-Fi encryption, like old WEP, in VPNs, disk encryption, and secure web connections. Any protocol that wants to avoid patterns in its encrypted traffic will often depend on IVs as part of its design. In many implementations, the IV is sent in the clear with each encrypted packet or message, which is normal and expected. The security is not in hiding the IV, but in making the IV unpredictable and never reused with the same key. Imagine two secret letters written with the same one-time pad. If an attacker gets both, they can often recover both letters. IV reuse with the same key creates a similar disaster because the mathematical assumptions of the cipher mode break down. When the same IV is reused, identical plaintext blocks can generate identical ciphertext, which leaks patterns and can let attackers infer or recover underlying data. In wireless networks, this was exactly what went wrong with WEP. The IV space was too small and values started repeating quickly. Once attackers captured enough packets reusing IVs, they could reconstruct the key stream and ultimately crack the WEP key, leading to practical tools that could break a Wi-Fi network in minutes. If IVs can be guessed ahead of time, attackers gain another advantage. They can set up chosen plaintext attacks. By knowing or controlling parts of what will be encrypted and guessing the IV, an attacker can study how the system transforms that data and gradually reveal secrets like keys or structured data formats. Predictable IVs turn encryption into a known puzzle instead of an unpredictable one. It is like a magician who always uses the same card shuffle. Eventually, the audience can predict the trick and spoil the show. In some modes of operation, if an attacker knows how the IV influences the first block of plaintext, they can perform bit-flipping attacks. By altering the IV or the ciphertext in carefully chosen ways, they cause controlled changes in the decrypted data, even though they never see the key. This means an attacker might not read your bank transfer request, but they can change transfer 100 into transfer 10,000 by toggling bits in the right place. The victim's device will happily decrypt and treat the modified message as legitimate because the cryptography does exactly what it is supposed to do with the now manipulated data. The collapse of WEP encryption is a textbook IV story. WEP used a 24-bit IV that was too short, and it combined that IV with a long-term key in a way that allowed reuse and statistical analysis. Attackers capturing wireless traffic could collect thousands to millions of packets, many of them using the same IV values. With those repeated IVs and known protocol structures like predictable headers, tools could reconstruct key streams and ultimately derive the WEP key, completely compromising the Wi-Fi network. IV attacks are insidious because nothing obvious fails. The password is strong, the cipher is mathematically sound, and encryption is technically enabled. The weakness lies between the math and the implementation, how IVs are chosen, reused, sent, and validated. To the user, everything looks safe. The lock icon is on, the Wi-Fi says secured, the VPN is connected. Yet an attacker quietly takes advantage of small design flaws or coding shortcuts around IV generation and handling. To defend against IV attacks, systems must treat IVs as seriously as keys, even though they are not secret. The following technical disciplines change the story entirely. Use large, non-repeating IV spaces and never reuse an IV with the same key, especially in stream ciphers and CBC-like modes. Generate IVs using cryptographically secure random number generators, not timestamps, counters, or predictable patterns. Prefer modern authenticated encryption modes like AEAD schemes that handle IVs carefully and provide integrity as well as confidentiality. For protocols like Wi-Fi, move away from legacy schemes such as WEP to modern standards like WPA3 that fix IV and key management weaknesses. On the development side, secure coding guidelines and cryptographic libraries should hide IV management details so developers cannot accidentally misuse them. Security reviews and penetration tests need to explicitly check for IV reuse, weak randomness, and bit flipping possibilities in custom protocols. The most important secret about IV attacks is that in most famous failures, the cipher itself was fine. The implementation details destroyed the security. The villain in the story is not AES, not RC4, not the idea of encryption, but carelessness with this tiny parameter called the IV, which quietly turns strong encryption into a cracked open safe. So when your audience hears "just turn on encryption," the ending is this: encryption without correct IV handling is like a steel door with the lock installed upside down. Impressive to look at, trivial to bypass from the right angle. So there you have it, future cyber defenders. If this information was helpful to you, then please do like and share the video with others. Thank you for watching and for subscribing.